All right. Hello, love. This is your human design reading. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can look at your human design chart. And I love knowing and using human design for my private clients because it just offers so much more insight to yourself and then insight for me to also just know more of the way that your body came to operate. So if you haven't heard of human design, it's basically the way that you were wired, the way that your body was meant to move through Earth, just to put it in simple terms. So it's based on the 5,000-year-old I Ching. It's based on Vedic astrology, tropical astrology. It's based on the chakra system, and it's amazing. So they say that it takes about 7 years to be a student of human design to really get into like you'll see this is your body graph or your body chart has a couple different names to really get into these gates and channels and all of that. And so what I love about human design is as long as you follow right here, this is your basic, like basic being not in a bad way, but like foundation. As long as you follow your foundational human design, like you can't go wrong. You don't need to know all of these little intricacies. These are fun to learn and they're helpful. But if you don't come back to the foundations in human design, none of this will serve you anyway. So, human design has 5 different energy types. You're a generator energy type. So, what that means is this is your birthday up here. So, if it's incorrect, let me know. But I don't think it is because I triple checked. But what that means is as a generator, you're one of the most popular energy types in the world. So I always like to say that generators are the energizer bunnies. You have a lot of energy to do the things that you love to do. It's important that you do the things that are exciting for you because then it doesn't feel like work for you. You can just go and go and go and go. The generators are often the ones that are up early, working late, and never really turn work off. So it doesn't mean that you shouldn't turn work off. It just means that it is a little bit more difficult for you when you're just in it and you're loving and it lights you up and you're excited because it's through that you actually draw in people to really support your vision. And so it's that excitement, it's that open energetic aura that the generator has when they're doing what they love that get other people on board with the vision. Um, let's see. So the generator likes to move from A to B, B to C, C to D. Like you like to work in steps. That's what feels safer for you. So when you're around like somebody like me, I'm a manifesting generator. So I'm a blend of the different energy types. I don't like to work in steps. I skip a bunch of steps to get to the end goal. That can kind of feel a little bit chaotic or unsafe for you. And you can also, if you're around like projectors are slower and reflectors are other energy types. They're slower moving. And so you can feel like, oh my gosh, why are they moving so slow? Like, what is happening? Like, come on, guys, like, let's get with the program. The only type that you're not going to feel as slow is a manifesting generator because we're just very fast movers. We're the fastest moving. Manifesting generators are the fastest moving in the sense of like ideas, of implementing them, of moving, of like getting things going, of kind of yeah, just go, where the generators also would just go and has a ton of energy to do it. Other energy types only like to work a couple hours a day, and they're only meant to work a couple hours a day. Their aura and their energy type is meant to be more slow and penetrative and insightful and different things like that. So I will send you a link to a podcast that my bestie and I had done around how all of the energy types play into the whole and how we're all actually here to really support and serve each other. Because, of course, right? So, coming back to your body graph right here. So, you can see where this is where the chakra system is. You've got your crown, your ajna, your throat, your heart. This is your ego and will. This is your sacral. So this is where your emotional center is. This tells me that you're a non-emotional. It doesn't mean you don't feel emotions. It means that you don't relate to the world through your emotional beingness. And you've got your spleen, your sacral, and your root chakra here. Um, these open centers are basically where you're a little bit more fluid. It's where you're able to take on other people's energies and be influenced by other people's energies, not in a negative way. I mean, it could be negative, but it's not meant to be negative. It's just in a way of like you're open minded, right? And you can see many visions. So these open places are just where it's called open center or undefined, where you're just more fluid in who you are in those centers. And then these defined centers are very much like you're pretty set in who you are. You're not really open to interpretation. You're not really going to change who you are in your heart center. So the heart center would be like your self love, like you really love yourself. Where somebody else with an open heart center might be like, oh, do I deserve love? Do I have to prove my love? And all of these things. Here, though, where you're open, I'm getting a little bit into the weeds, but I think you'll like it. Is kind of like worth. Like you might always be a little bit dancing in and out of like if you're worth it, if it's for you, like different things like that around your worth. So basically where you're defined or closed is, and closed isn't negative, it's just where they're defined, they're not open like these white ones. It's just where you're really clear in who you are and you've got also a consistent amount of energy. Where these ones you don't have a consistent ongoing energy flow in them. Okay, so as a generator, your strategy. So this means the way that you make decisions. This is the most aligned way for you to make decisions is to respond. So this means that you don't do as well with open-ended questions. So if I were to say, "Hey, where do you want to eat?" You're probably gonna be like, I don't care. Like whatever sounds good." And then we're going to get somewhere and you'd be like, oh, I definitely didn't want this. Or, oh, this is actually a good choice. I didn't think of this. So it's better for the generator types to have something to respond to. So you need choices, just 2 to 3 choices. You don't need a ton. So if I were to say, do you want tacos or spaghetti tonight? You're going to be like, oh, yeah, I definitely want tacos tonight. You want sushi or, pizza? Like you're going to know. So you need choices. So if you don't already do this, I want you to start to normalize. If like John or anybody is like, hey, where do you want to eat? What are my choices? Give me 2 to 3 choices, because then it's giving you something to actually say uh-huh or uh-uh to. And that's where this sacral authority. So this is where your decision making comes from. It's the sacral authority is this instant knowing. It's, sits right below your womb or right in your womb, right below your belly button in your womb, where that sacral chakra is. And so because you're a sacral being, you actually have a very clear relationship with your yeses and your nos. And they feel like a ugh or ugh. They're very guttural. Like you might roll your eyes and just like make that, right? Like ugh, that a sound. That's your body communicating to you instantly in the moment of what's for you and what's not for you. So if somebody's like, hey, you want to go on vacation to Alaska, and your internal system's like, ugh, that's how you pretty much know. Like that's your uh-huh or uh-uh. It's not like yes and no, it's definitely an uh-huh or uh-uh. And so if you want to get and play around with that more, you can practice in the morning of like, what coffee cup do I want to use? And just kind of go through and see which ones give you the uh-huh that day, just to kind of strengthen that inner authority. Um, you also just know in the moment. So other authorities, there's many authorities types out there. They don't know in the moment. They need time to sit with their decision. You're not going to relate to any of that. You're not going to know why people need to sleep on it. Like somebody like me, I need 1 to 5 days of sleeping on it and thinking about it and feeling into all the elements of it. It's not where you're at. You just know in the moment of like, yes, this is for me, or this is a no for me, which you already do really well at. Like we were talking on our last call with John and going to see his mom and his family. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like you just know what you need and you speak to it very beautifully. So love that. All right, you are a 3-5. So this is your profile lines. This is like your personality. So the 3 line is the line that I like to call the fuck around and find out line. The 3 line is the adventurer. They're the experimenter. The great life experimenter is like the kind of the title for the 3-5. The 3-5 is meant to just go out for your entire life and just dive headfirst into things and just see what it's like and then report to the rest of us, because you end up kind of teaching what you experienced. You end up being like, hey, back there I made a left and I turned into this crazy pond that was gorgeous, but like I don't know if you want to do that, so you might want to make a right, but I'm just letting you know what it was like to make a left and then go in 10 circles, like whatever it is. The 3 line is meant to lead life from the front lines, where everybody else is a little bit more like hesitant, like, oh, I don't know, are you sure you should do that? The 3 line is like, yeah, I'm sure. So to the outside eye, it looks like the 3 line makes a lot of mistakes, but there's actually no mistakes. It is the trial and error line. You're meant to try it, you're meant to learn, and you're meant to move on. So the 3 line really actually can't make mistakes at all, because you're literally meant to come out and just do the thing. It's not a toe dip, it's a dive in. You're meant to try and do the thing that other people are going to feel hesitant about, and that's perfect. Um, so your 5 line is the fixer. I have a 5 line as well. So the 5 line is the fixer line. That's the heretic. It's the line that gets a lot of projections as well. Not as much as a profile line 5-1, but if you have a 5 line, then you do get like people will see you as like a savior type and want you to fix things. And you can. That's the thing about the 5 lines is we can kind of fix anything. We can come in and make anything better, but it doesn't mean you're meant to fix everything. So what I like to tell the 5 lines is instead of running around the beach with a light, excuse me, with a lighthouse, I mean with a lantern, trying to carry everybody home, right? Like, here's a lantern, let me walk you home. And then running to the next person on the beach, here's the lantern, let me walk you home. Just be the lighthouse, which I actually think, again, based on what we've been doing with our coaching, you do well at. I don't know that you did in the past. I have no idea, but you, and we do tend to embody this more in our 40s. So this makes sense. Um, but you have said like I just like you kind of just let people make the mistakes they need to make, and that's perfect. You're the lighthouse. You have the wisdom and the intuition and the ability to see what can be fixed and corrected and done better, but you're not trying to help and fix everything. And just because people will project onto you that you can be the savior doesn't mean you need to be. And the other thing with that 5 line is when people will project on you to be the savior and like you have all the answers, the moment that you're human, you can kind of feel like you lose people because they're like, oh, she, whatever. She wasn't who she said she was because she didn't have this answer, because, you have a human moment or you get messy or whatever it is. So, but the 3, 5 together is you're meant to just be this big experimenter and adventurer as you also make things around you better, as you also help those around you, as you also fix the things around you that you can really see could be just working smoother. You're not coming in and innovating anything, but you are improving. That's what the 5 line does, is the 5 line comes in and improves the systems that aren't working well and you make them better. So as a generator, when you know that you're in alignment, you feel this is signature theme, or the self theme is satisfaction. When you are not in alignment, it's called your not self theme, and you are going to feel frustration. So, what that means is frustration is feedback. It doesn't mean you're actually out of alignment, and it doesn't mean you're actually not in yourself. What it means is like, okay, I feel frustrated. So, do I need to take space? Do I need to walk away from this project, this thing, this person for a day? Do I just need a nap and a snack? Do I need to get a different perspective? Do I need to ask for help? Right. So frustration is your feedback that like you just need to shift something. And then if you've done all the things and you still feel really frustrated, then that might be the sign that like this thing, person, event, experience really isn't for you. Because when things are really flowing and for you, you just feel this general sense of satisfaction. And any generators I talk to, and I have this theme as well. We know the feeling of frustration in our body. Like frustration is a really easy for us to access the feeling of. And so just treat it as not anything wrong, but just like, oh, feedback. Okay, what do I need? I am a little bit hungry. I didn't sleep well last night. So let me actually just step away from this thing or this person or whatever. And let me just go take care of me for a little bit. And then if that helps the frustration, then you will get back into that feeling of satisfaction, that feeling of alignment. So let's see. This is where I'm going to end it. I don't like to give too much on the first reading, but your design sense. So your strongest sense is your smell. So my daughter has this one. It's really interesting because what this means is like, not only can you smell everything, but it's also your intuition lives in your nose. It lives in your smell. Not that it doesn't also live in your, like your womb and your gut and all of that, but you can literally like smell things that are right for you or wrong for you. Like you'll just know from a smell that like, no, I can't do this. Or you know what? Yeah, like I like the smell of this. I can go this direction, or I can go into this building, or I can work with this person. So never discount your sense of smell is actually giving you a lot more information. It's your strongest sense. It's giving you a lot more information than just what something smells like. So can't wait to hear how this lands for you. And then the more we work together, the more we can kind of go into some of these other things like your environment and different things next, and maybe a couple of the gates. But right now, I want you just to really absorb and let this foundational part, you are the generator, your satisfaction versus frustration. You need something to respond to. You are a sacral being. So that or and then that great life adventure, those profile lines being a 3-5. So I'm sending you so much love. And let me stop the share. And I will talk to you so soon.